Thumbs up. Here we go.
Last month, Ingenuity made history when it took off for the first flight ever in the atmosphere of another planet.
It's rectangular.
Keenan showed us one of the first prototype motors he made for Ingenuity.
So how do you make sure it's perfect?
Lots of testing. So the first motor I did, this was my little trial, teaching myself. Yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
I mean, it's obsessive.
This was, dozens of hours of messing around and using little pieces of plastic and wood and metal as guides so that the wire would stay centered going through. And then I'd pull it tight, and then I'd do another one, and then once I would wind one tooth, I would test it. And the first motor that I actually made for JPL for delivery, it took me 100 hours.
For Keenan and Peipenberg, this project is a long time coming. They first met about 20 years ago when Peipenberg was a teenager.
Yeah, I recruited him at a model airplane contest.
You met him when he was 14 at a model airplane contest?
Yeah, so we're kind of nerdy, and we make these little micro radio control models, pretty high tech. And I had been writing articles, and we had this one annual get-together that we would go to called the Neat Fair Micro Seminars. And he found us on the internet and showed up, and we just show our stuff and fly. It's amazing. And now he's the lead mechanical engineer. He's the chief engineer on this. You want to try it? All right, go ahead. You've got it. Slide it right. You can push it all the way to the right if you want.
I got to fly Terry, the terrestrial version of Ingenuity. It's the one they use here for educational purposes.
Bring it up a little bit. Now stop.
It's not as complex as the one that's on Mars, but it gives you a sense of what it looks like and how it flies.
All right, let me take over now. I've switched you out, and we'll go back to the...
Why go through all this? What's the point of having a helicopter, besides being really cool, on Mars?
Well, so aerial robotics in general are, we think, going to be very useful for exploring the solar system. We're just trying to get engineering data that tells us that helicopters can be used for this kind of a mission, and then from there we'll go on to much larger, much more exciting science missions.
So what are you working on now?
I'm beginning to work on the rest of the sample return campaign. Perseverance is this first leg of this relay race to bring back samples from Mars to Earth.
And the samples that Perseverance is going to take, they're going to stay on Mars for another mission.
That's right. Next mission's got to pick them up, launch them into Mars orbit, where they're picked up by an orbiter, and then bring them back here to Earth. And then we have to land here on Earth. So we've got a couple more landings ahead of us.